Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you my go-to cookie recipe. This is a very versatile, very soft, almost bakery-like kind of cookie. I'm going to show you how I use this base to make different types of cookies just by either adding different toppings to the batter or my personal favorite, adding different toppings to the top. We're going to start off with all our ingredients at room temperature. Starting off with 1 cup of unsalted butter, 1 cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of brown sugar. I like to use dark. I mix these ingredients until they're nice and fluffy. This recipe does call for equal parts of brown sugar and regular sugar, but I don't like my things sweet, so I always take off half a cup. I added 1/4 a teaspoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You're also going to need 2 eggs. You're going to incorporate the eggs into the batter one at a time, making sure that they're nice and mixed before you add the second one. All ingredients and exact measurement for this recipe will be listed down below in the description box, so don't forget to check it out. This is 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Mixing my dry ingredients to make sure that they're well incorporated before adding it to the rest of the batter. I'm going to be adding the flour in 2 parts. Being very careful not to overmix my batter. One thing about cookies is that you never want to overmix your batter or your cookies will come out very hard after baking. Once you have incorporated all your flour into the batter, you're going to get a spatula and you're going to scrape all the sides and the bottom of your bowl, making sure that you don't have any dry ingredients in there. And at this point, your dough is going to be kind of sticky and soft, so you're going to place it in the refrigerator to set for a couple of hours or overnight. I'm going to be stuffing some of my cookies with a cream cheese filling. This is half a bar of cream cheese at room temperature, 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and 1 tablespoon of regular all-purpose flour. I'm mixing this until it's nice and incorporated, and it's going to be almost like a buttercream consistency. You're going to place this into the freezer until it's nice and frozen. This needs to be nice and hard so we're able to make little balls out of it and stuff our cookies. To make the Snicker doodle topping, you're going to need equal parts of sugar. So it's going to be 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. You're going to mix this, making sure that you take out any little hard parts of the brown sugar. And another thing that I like to add to this is allspice. This is totally optional. If you don't like the taste of allspice, you do not have to add it. I'm also using mini chocolate chips, and for my Oreo ones, I'm just crushing regular Oreos, leaving some of my Oreos with the white filling inside. Now that this is all ready, we're going to move on to the next part of the recipe. My cream cheese is finally frozen. I'm going to use these little measuring teaspoons to determine the size of the balls that I want to make. I'm going to be using the smaller one, but it's really up to you how much filling you want to add to your cookies. But just as a reminder, the more filling that you make, the bigger size filling you put into your cookies, the bigger quantity that you're going to need for each cookie. So keep that in mind. If this is becoming very sticky, you could always wet your hands so you're able to roll those little balls and place them back in the freezer until you're ready to use them. I like to use ice cream scoops to keep my cookie balls roughly the same size. I like to use the 2 smaller ones, which is the middle one is a 2-inch and the smaller one is an 1.5 inches. And now we're going to start with the fun part of dipping our cookie batter into all these toppings. The cookie dough is very nice and chilled, so it's very easy to scoop it up with the ice cream scoop. I'm pressing the cookie dough nice and flat so I'm able to put the cream cheese filling in the middle, and then closing it and making a little ball. I'm going to repeat the same process for all the ones that I'm going to be stuffing. Now here I'm putting my little cookie ball into the Snickerdoodle topping and making sure that it's covered on both sides, and then I'm placing it on my baking mat, pressing it down. I'm going to do the same thing for the Oreo one. I love this cookie recipe because it's so versatile. It yields about 2 to 3 dozen depending on the size of scoop that you use. I always like making these 3 because these are my family's favorite ones, but the possibilities are endless with this recipe. When I'm making the stuffed cookies, I always like to use the 2-inch ice cream scooper so I have enough room to put my stuffing in. And when I'm just doing toppings, I like to use the 1.5-inch scoop whenever I'm just dipping the cookie batter into the toppings. Here I'm moving on to the 1.5 ice cream scooper, and I'm just scooping up my batter and dipping the cookie batter into the toppings, making sure that I'm very generous because these are going to spread, so also your toppings are going to spread as well. If at any point your cookie dough starts getting very sticky, you could always pop it in the freezer and wait until it chills again before you start doing it. These cookies are going to bake at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. All ovens are different, so you guys need to see what works for you, but usually it takes 15 to 20 minutes for these cookies to bake. Making sure that you give enough space in between your cookies so they won't stick together while baking. These cookies are finally done. They took about 15 minutes to bake and they're nice and golden brown on the bottom. Once they are cooled off, you could store them in an airtight container for about 2 to 3 days, but in my household they never last that long. They're usually gone within minutes of them coming out of the oven. I hope that you guys try this recipe, and if you do, please don't forget to comment down below and give me a like, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. I want to hear from anybody that tried this recipe. I hope that you guys like it. Let me know which of these cookies was your favorite one if you guys made it. And don't forget, you guys could also tag me and follow me on Instagram at scakesandmore. Thank you and have a great day.